welcome to Your Mental Health Matters. My name is Crystal Kelly, and I'm your host for this evening. This is brought to you by ONV. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it tonight. So we are talking about back to school and our kids and their mental health. So it is the season. It's that time. You know, everybody's getting ready to get back to school, get back in the swing of things. So I guess I want to start off with what are some things that we should be looking out for when it comes to, our kids dealing with just everything that's been going on. Getting back into the swing of things.
Getting back into the swing of things and getting prepared.
Yes.
I would say we're probably a week behind here in Indiana because the kids start school this coming week.
Yes.
So getting that regular bedtime, getting that routine going, because that consistency and stability, it makes a difference in how kids perform.
That's right.
And if they're lacking sleep or if they're lacking good nutrition, that's going to impact their well-being, their emotional well-being, their mental well-being, and the physical.
Yeah.
So I would say start getting into those routines like now.
Please.
Because, again, Fort Wayne Community and East Allen County, I believe, starts this week, this Thursday.
Yeah,
so,
most definitely.
You guys have any other input?
No, I totally agree. I mean, I feel like, you got to have a pretty solid routine because then if you get off track a little bit, it's easy to get back on, you know. But if you're just out there doing whatever, some nights they're going to bed at 11, some nights it's 1 in the morning. It's easy to really, go over the line with that. And
That's right.
You end up messing up your whole sleep schedule and then taking weeks to get back on track. And I think nutrition's a big part of that too,
Right.
They're eating a bunch of junk and, it's harder to sleep and
harder to stay focused.
Yeah, concentrate.
Yeah. And then we'll also get into the signs and symptoms of the bullying, the self-esteem, and what parents and caregivers need to look for and monitor the kids and get them what they need.
Yeah.
As they move forward.
So it's a fresh start. Everybody's getting ready to go back to school. It's a clean slate. Everything that had happened last year, we're focusing on this new year.
Yeah.
So what are some things I guess parents can really try to encourage their kids to start like healthy habits? I know we talk about. Go ahead.
No, outside of the routine.
Yes.
I do believe that the kids can benefit from good affirmations.
I love it.
Morning affirmations. If it's maybe something as simple as a Bible verse or favorite Bible verse, or positive affirmations. It doesn't have to be a whole paragraph of things, but sharing those things with your kids before they leave out, or even saying a prayer before you leave out for school. And it doesn't take 5 minutes. It takes maybe a couple minutes to gather the kids and just do that and give them a covering before they leave out of the house. And those affirmations that they need from family so they can have that foundation when they're at school and going through the ups and downs there. In the back of their mind, they can be thinking, I have my home.
Yes.
I have a safe place.
That's right.
And that only comes with us giving those good foundations of love to the kids and the affirmations that they need.
That's right. Go ahead.
I'd say too, it's just like that. You're checking in with the kid. Don't wait for the teacher to send you an email about
Please
them.
don't.
Check in with them regularly. And do things. I feel like that where you don't have an agenda. You know what I mean? Where you take them to breakfast one day a week, or you walk the dog together, and just check in with them to where you're not constantly telling them to do chores or do their homework. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're checking in, and I think it's also good to encourage kids to practice some form of mindfulness too. Whether that's yoga, meditation, breathing, visualization, just tons of ways to do it. But I think it's good because it's when the stress does hit. If you're in the habit, it's coming.
It's coming.
Whether you want it to or not.
That's right.
So if they're in the habit of doing it, then they'll be prepared. I talk about it's like a seatbelt. You don't wait till the car accident before you put your seatbelt on.
That's right.
That's ready flying through the windshield, So and this is practicing that, and that becomes the habit instead of me, stressing out, and and also being able to, I think, being organized, having some kind of strategy
Yeah.
to stay organized,
I love
so you
it.
can stay on top of things. I know for me with my ADHD, and I like to procrastinate a little bit too, but it's like if I can break it down into small, manageable chunks. You know,
There you
I'm not
go.
here to do 15 things. I'm here to do one thing at a time, one assignment, one chapter. You know, and just if I have it planned out, even
That's
if again if I get a
right.
little off track, it's easy to get back on.
I love it.
And that's important when you have kids that have different personalities, which most of them do.
Very true.
And if you have multiple kids, you need to know that individual kid, each one of them, so you know how they operate best,
Right,
and
right.
not spring something on a kid that needs to, have a few minutes to take it in and say, okay, this is what we're going to do in the next 15 minutes. So I think it's important to know who your kids are and
Right.
how they move as far as getting tasks done, whether it's
Yeah.
homework or getting up in a timely manner to
Right.
get prepared for school, because you have those that are slow motion,
Yeah.
and you might need to get them to bed early so you
Just a
can
little
get
bit.
them up a little bit earlier.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And not have that stress in the morning, like, hurry up, let's get this done, So I would encourage the parents and caregivers to really get in tune with knowing your
I
kids,
love it.
each one of them individually, and not just for the school season, but for
Right.
for all times.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because that morning routine really does set the tone for the day.
Oh, yes.
It really does.
Yes.
So if you're rushing, not eating, it's like that's the day it's going to start like that. It just doesn't help a kid when it comes to when they get
Chaos.
to school,
Right.
they're all over the place with their
Right.
emotions, how they're thinking.
Having their homework assignments or whatever they need for school already in the bag and by
Right.
the door
Mm-hmm.
the night before.
That's
Just
right.
preparation and being organized. Yeah.
Mhm. So how about, were you going to say something, Salakia?
No, I agree totally with that. I
Confirmation.
think it kind of goes right back to having that healthy sleep hygiene and bedtime routine.
Yes.
And you're right. Some kids need a little more time to start to wind down before bed. You know, they can't just shut it off and go to sleep. So, having something in the way of, starting to, shut off electronics and screens and, get them a hot bath before bed, things to help them start to wind down.
Love it.
And then waking up in the morning without a bunch of chaos, obviously you're going to go to school in a little bit better mood. And
Yep, a little more
Yeah.
peaceful,
Yeah.
more relaxed.
And it's going to take probably a couple weeks to get set in
Right,
that routine.
right.
totally.
So
Yeah.
encourage
So
them.
so parents, definitely is that routine, setting the tone first thing in the morning and in the evening time. So how about for parents who are like single parents, parents who have maybe multiple children, little ones, what tools or encouragement we can give them? Because, again, everybody has their challenges, especially getting back into the habit of getting back into school.
I will say from my own experience,
Right.
it's just going to take discipline and consistency.
Right.
It can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of being consistent
That's right.
with it, and knowing that you're going to have extra time to do this, that, and whatever. So try to prepare the night before
Right.
with each one. Hopefully, the kids, when they get older, they can help out with the situation.
Right.
But I would not just discourage them
Yeah.
and say it's impossible, because all things are possible.
That's right.
Just disciplining yourself to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, it's going to have to be some self-care in there somewhere
Yeah.
to rejuvenate yourself.
Very
You know,
true.
Good point.
A couple
Very
times
true.
a week or at the end of the day, have those moments for yourself so you can
Right.
recharge
That's right.
to be able to be functional
Yeah.
and at your best for the kids.
Yeah.
I don't like to discourage just because it's a single parent,
Right.
because it can be done with some focus and discipline and organization.
Yeah.
Just
I
take
think
your time with it.
along with that, definitely the consistency and the routine. I think it's even more important. You're helping
Right.
yourself out.
Come on, that's
by having
right.
a pretty structured system that you can follow. And I'd also say too, it's probably a good idea to have those clear expectations. And be able
I
to
love
talk to the
that.
kid about that. And admit, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to
That's
forget things.
right.
But we're in this together.
Thank you.
I'm here to support you.
Right, and I would say sometimes it is tough. But again, giving yourself that time, either 5 or 10 minutes before your day starts, and then at the end of the day, so you can be better prepared and have your energy to deal with the kids and whatever's going on with their emotions.
That's it.
And honestly, I don't know, we can talk for about an hour on that one. We can go ahead.
Come on. Because again, parents, your energy, your children going to feel it.
Yes.
They're going to feel
set
it.
the tone.
The tone for
You
the whole
set
house.
the tone for the household.
Yes.
So if you're all over the place emotionally, they're going to feel it as well.
Yeah.
So, parents.
And even,
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt.
No,
I
you're
was going to
fine.
say, too, even if, you got some kids that are grumpy in the morning, don't really
course.
talk all that much,
Right.
and you're like, hey, how you doing? And they're just, I feel
No
like
words.
it's that you might be the most positive voice they've heard that day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how they respond and react,
That's right.
Again, you set the tone.
That's
so why not
it.
set a tone that you want to start the day with, one of, encouragement and compassion and love and, acceptance. So, yeah.
And if you're not used to it, then
Right.
this is a good time to start it.
Start it
And
now.
most habits are formed after about 20 days or 3
That's
weeks.
right.
That's about that time. So just do it because the kids need it, and you're going to be, I guess, their first teacher, number one.
Definitely.
And you have an opportunity to be their best teacher.
Yeah.
Because what they're going to do at school, what they're going to learn at school, it really should be the finishing polish
That's right.
of what's happening at home.
Yeah.
So I would say still set that tone for their education, for life, their emotions, spiritual, physical, all of that.
Yeah, I love it. Those expectations, if you're expecting your child to do well emotionally, mentally, in the school, academically, you got to have that.
less problems.
Yeah, and you got to have that expectation for yourself as a parent too.
Right.
Yes.
You
gotta
know,
role
the
model
follow
it.
through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Follow through is huge. It's really huge. And again, if you don't have these consistent,
Right.
things in place, it's hard to do the follow through. Yeah.
But then we'll talk about resources that are there to help
that's
with
right.
parenting skills and what have you.
That's
Very true.
right.
So
Yeah, because we don't want anybody to feel like they're by themselves.
Right.
We all know everybody goes through things, but this is a time to get these skills now. Like this podcast is giving you so many different resources and that encouragement to know that it's doable. It's just a matter of just being consistent,
being consistent and asking for help
asking for help.
when you need it.
Come on, that's right.
And again, there's plenty of resources, plenty of tools out there. That's been part of my job doing case management in the past and working with parents with kids on probation and stuff like
Right.
that. You'd have to teach parenting skills. And there's a lot. There's a lot out there.
It is.
So it's never too late to add tools to your tool belt either.
Come on.
Right.
Another thing that I think a lot of parents don't take advantage of is the relationship with the teachers. Again, yes, we work full-time jobs and all that, but if you want to get connected with the teacher, there's emails, there's telehealth now, phone calls if you can't physically get to the school. But I think having that relationship with your teachers, the kids' teachers, is so valuable.
It is. I do agree with that. I agree with that. And you can have that collaboration, especially if
Right.
you have a quote-unquote difficult child. Maybe you can relate to that teacher a little bit about maybe what's happening at home.
Right.
And they can be a little bit more understanding and take a little more time out for that kid, because what we know is that when the nutrition is not there, when the emotional instability is not there, they're not going to focus
That's right.
on school. And I would say add in there with the nutrition, breakfast is the most important meal, they say,
It
of the
is.
day.
Come on.
And if you think about it, if a kid is thinking about eating and
hungry.
hungry all day, they're not going to be focused on what they need to be learning.
That's
So
right.
that is very important that the parents take time to make sure they do that for the kids and not expect
Totally.
the school
Thank
to
you.
feed them,
That's right.
because it may not be the most nutritious. I don't know what it is these days, but it may not be the most nutritious, but at least you have a hand in
Right.
what they're eating, or at least they're getting something from home. Yeah.
I love this. This is good.
And then
So also another thing that we can reach out and just educate parents about is giving yourself some coping skills when it comes to when you're feeling, stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed with your child's behavior. Like, okay, take a step back, breathe, because again, it's a lot, especially if you're a single parent, have a few children, that are small, that may have some behavioral issues. It's just a matter of taking a step back as much as possible and realize, okay, what is it I need to do to make sure I'm good, so I can be good for my kids.
Right.
Definitely. No, you can't take care of nobody else if you don't take care of yourself.
Thank you. It starts with you. Right. That's right.
And recognizing that, and then knowing not only the community resources, but your family connection, the village.
Yeah.
To ask for help when you need it and accept the help, even if you don't ask.
Yeah, there's no shame.
Right,
no shame.
Right. And because it is important.
Right.
And if you don't connect with others to build yourself up, you're going to model that for your kids.
That's true. Because I know there's a lot of young single parents, and a lot. I don't know if this generation, I don't know. It's just they don't feel comfortable with asking for help. They don't feel like they can just say, hey, this is a problem, this is an issue, I need help, I need support.
And maybe they don't see it.
Right.
But if someone is letting you know, hey, you might need to look at this or consider that.
Right.
Hopefully they're open enough to
got to be open to receive it.
Yeah. And that's the only way you can help an individual is only if they recognize that they need it. However, some don't recognize that, and if someone on the outside brings it to their attention, maybe they'll be more attentive to say, hey, maybe this is a problem.
Yeah, so the supports could be, of course, your family. It could be your church family. It could be, your doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a matter of just thinking outside the box and realize that there's people out there that are willing to help you, to guide you. Take it. Take the offers.
Well, and I like how you brought up the doctor too, because I think that a lot of people should be checking in with their pediatrician.
Yes.
Excuse me. I know it's part of their screening. They do when they talk about social and emotional health.
Right.
But I think sometimes parents may not like what they hear from the pediatrician, and they'll just say okay in there, but then not follow the advice. You know what I mean? And I think it's something that, especially someone you trust, that's trying to help you and point you in the right direction. So but you're right. You gotta take that step back, and I also feel like not all problems have to be solved right away either.
That's very
true. I think a lot of times as parents we try to do everything right now, and sometimes it's okay to kind of sit with it for a second and make sure you're teaching the lesson you're trying to teach. You know what I mean? You're not just punishing a symptom; you're actually dealing with the issue of the problem,
the core. That's
the core of it. And so sometimes that if you're reacting in emotion in the moment, and again too, I feel like it's I don't want to say it's important, but it's so much easier to get the kids buy-in when they take responsibility for their own education.
Come on.
So if you're doing everything for them, you're emailing the teacher, and you know what I mean. That you should also encourage them to communicate with their teacher.
Right.
Well, the older ones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so with the younger ones, I just made that note. With the younger ones, yes, we do need to kind of help them and guide them. However, what parents need to understand is that if that kid is behind and don't feel like they can relate to their peers, and I'm talking early elementary age kids, that's going to frustrate the kids. So I do encourage you to check their homework assignments or and help them, figure out those things that they're struggling in, because when they get to the classroom, the teacher is not going to stop and say, hey,
that's right.
You should have been doing this last week, maybe.
Right.
So I encourage the parents to do that, and when you see the kids are struggling, please help them, because it's just going to compound the problem at school, because what a kid will do is start acting out.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yeah, because if they're not fitting in as far as knowing what they need to know for that day or for that week, they're going to start acting out to get maybe kicked out of the class or to just get some other kind of attention. So
or
that's
at the very least they'll shut down, and not take anything
that's
in.
Right.
And then
that's
you're
right.
further behind. Further behind.
I think too, like you're saying, I love that, because you're showing interest too. You're showing that school, that education for them is important to you too.
That's right.
And I think that's a good way to kind of role model that behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kids' behaviors, they speak volumes.
Oh,
you know, it's not always bad behavior. You know, that's what we want to say, but a lot of times kids don't have the words to say.
They don't have the words, so they'll act out. And
they
we've
act
said that
out.
before.
Mm-hmm.
They show you what they feel.
Come on, that's right.
And kids model what they see. And while we talk about homework, you know, pick up a book every once in a while and read to the younger ones. Definitely.
Yeah, that's
the
huge.
older ones, you know, can read for themselves, or if they're just learning, have them do that on a regular basis, even if it's not assigned from home, because that's going to help them with their self-confidence, with the classroom time, and then just being all around academically, you know, where they need to be.
I think again that's especially for the younger kids, that's a perfect like bedtime routine kind of thing to do. You know, to quiet down and sit down and read with them. You know, and do
Turn
the activity
those devices
together.
off.
Yes.
TVs, please.
Definitely.
That shouldn't be the last thing that a kid should be on or watching before they go to bed.
Right.
You know, so yeah, please turn the devices off before you go to bed.
Right.
Give yourself at least 45 minutes to an hour for that like unwind. That downtime is so important.
And most kids that I've come in contact with, they love to hear a story, even if it's the same story for
That's true.
30 days. It's the same bedtime story. They still want to hear that and have that. That's a good way to bond with the kids too.
I love it.
Yeah. So I encourage that. Pick up a good book, or let them pick out, you know, the book and read it, even if it's 100 times a week.
Come on. Education is key.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times, again, dealing with us in the Black community, you know, thinking about breaking that generational curse of being able to go to higher education, you know, but it starts at home.
At home, not
It
at
really
school.
does.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think being in the school, you know, before COVID,
Yep.
I used to go to the schools and, you know, read in the class with the kids, you know, and I think that helped so much with their, you know, sense of belonging in the class. You know, they'd see the other kids in class would see their dad come in and make the Cookie Monster voice and, you know, read this fun story to him. And now the kid, he seemed more interested in going. I did that, you know, with pretty much all of my kids. And so again, before COVID,
right.
I don't know if I can even do that anymore. Can I go? Can I get into school and read some
Right.
stories?
I love it. So I want to hit the high topics before, you know, we end, is the things that we need to really be looking out for, again, when it comes to our children's mental health in the schools. You know, suicide. You know, if you have a child who may be having that suicidal ideation, you know, dealing with the bullying, dealing with the low self-esteem, like those are the things we really need to watch out for with all ages of our children.
Right. And then I know we've talked about this before, knowing your kid.
Yes.
And then it will be easier for you to kind of recognize the signs. Know
That's
who
true.
their friends are as they grow into their preteens and teenage years. Know who their friends are and who they're clicking with, because they will click. You just want to set a good tone as far as being interested enough in their lives.
That's right.
And knowing what they like.
Yeah.
And being able to recognize the signs when they're not, quote unquote, acting normal.
Yeah. So some of those signs could be not sleeping. You know, it could be sleeping in class. It could be having an attitude, you know, talking back, you know, shutting down emotionally, withdrawing from their peers. You know, so those are things to really look out for.
Eating problems, whether it's eating too much or
not eating at all.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
those are signs of some depression. So I would say encourage them to know your kid.
That's right.
To be able to pick up on the different signs that are coming about. And also knowing what are the signs of becoming a teenager. So if a parent or caregiver can read up on that stuff ahead of time, some of the signs you'll recognize as just natural biological stuff.
Just
Right.
development,
But then also know those danger signs with the bullying and drug use, alcohol use, peer pressure.
Come on. That's a real thing. That's
Yeah.
a real thing. So those are things I definitely encourage our parents to really pay attention to. Parents, caregivers, anybody who has someone who's important in a child's life. most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I know I keep saying that, but but with that being said, this is some great information. Again, you're tuned in to Your Mental Health Matters. We are talking about our children and their mental health, getting ready to go back to school. So we only have a few minutes left. So what are some things that we want to just put out there that we know that we want parents to understand and get?
Although it's a difficult parenting, it's a difficult
It's
task,
hard.
whether in school or out of school.
It's hard.
So
Come
I
on.
just encourage you guys to, or the parents to, get a good routine with the kids, be consistent with the kids, have some stability for them.
Yes.
Making sure they have a good sleep regimen, good nutrition,
I love it.
good exercise when you can get it in there,
Mm-hmm.
and give them those love affirmations in the morning
Yeah, I
and
love
start their
it.
days right.
Come on.
Yeah.
I like that. And I just would, I'd say the connection, over everything else too, is because, again, when you're really connected with your kid, you know them, you know what's going on with them. And again, don't wait for something to happen before you actually try to tap in with them.
Please don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, why not educate yourself? There's plenty of parenting curriculums out there. You can study up. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
If you got little kids, you can read about teenagers.
Yes, that's very true. Because
yeah.
it's
So you'll
coming.
be
Be
ahead of the
proactive.
game.
Yeah.
Right.
Be
So
proactive.
be ahead of the game and won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Because I've never met a perfect parent. I never will.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
No perfect
So,
parent.
yeah.
So don't be hard on yourself. I mean, again, there's no perfect parent. It's just a matter of just being humble to accept help and know that we're all going through it. We're all going through it. So when you say that support, I don't know if they still have the PTA in the schools.
I don't know that one.
It's been a minute. So, I mean, get involved if you can. Again, I know parents, some parents are working 2 jobs. But if you can connect with other parents, you'll know that you're not by yourself when you're struggling.
And I do know that kids really appreciate that when they see their parent coming through the door.
I know I did.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
So again, to highlight that point, I think it's important. Make sure the teachers, the school know who you are.
Yes.
That that's your
Come
kid
on.
and you care.
You expect something from them too, not just from their
Thank you.
kid.
Go to field trips. Go to ice cream socials, and back to school night. And
That
be
stuff
around.
matters.
Yeah.
It matters when you can show your face and the teacher can see, okay, the parent really is involved. They care.
Yeah.
Because you're your
That's important.
child's advocate.
Yeah.
The first advocate, only advocate at that
Exactly.
age. That's right.
And they need it.
Come on, I love it. So, with that being said, yes, I love this. This is awesome. So, anything that you guys have coming up that we would like our community to know?
You're going to announce yours, right?
Yes, let me announce mine. I was just leaving the floor. But tomorrow, August 5th, we have the Society of Black Mental Health Professionals. We will be having our mental health awareness walk. So we will have mental health agencies out there at Wiser Park starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's when our walk will start from McMillan to Wiser Park. So we are asking everybody, all shades of color, to come out to show the community that we care and we want to stomp out the stigma when it comes to mental health. We'll have someone out there doing face painting for the kids. We'll have food trucks out there. We'll have music. So we just want to make it festive. And again, we want to bring it to the community because I know a lot of times people don't know what Fort Wayne offers when it comes to the resources and the help. So you'll have a variety of different places out there that will be providing free resources. So please come join us. We'll be starting at Wiser Park, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we'll be giving away backpacks full of supplies.
All right.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited. Come on out. Come on. It's all free. All free. All right. So anything else?
Not for me. Have a good week of school.
Yes.
Yes,
Great
enjoy.
week. Come on. Make it happen.
Definitely.
Claim it.
Right.
Claim it.
Right.
So like we always say, your mind matters. Come on.
All right.